It was snowing hard that Christmas Eve. The streets were glowing with red and green lights, carolers sang at the corners, and the city felt alive with warmth. But inside a small diner on Main Street, a woman sat alone by the window, checking her watch for what must have been the 10th time. Her name was Claire. She was beautiful, successful, and, for reasons even she couldn't explain, nervous. Her blind date was already 30 minutes late. Most people would have left by now. But something told her to wait. She didn't know it yet. But that one small act of patience was about to change 2 lives forever. Hey everyone, welcome back to TruthLines USA, where real stories meet real hearts. If you believe in the power of kindness, love, and second chances, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment down below. Tell us what kindness means to you. We love hearing your stories too. Now, let's get back to that snowy Christmas Eve. Claire Anderson was the kind of woman people admired. She'd worked her way up from a small-town girl with a dream to the CEO of a marketing firm in Chicago. She was tough, focused, and always in control. But beneath the confidence was a loneliness she tried to ignore. Her assistant Jenna had convinced her to try a blind date. "You work too hard," Jenna had said. "You deserve someone kind, not rich, not fancy, just kind." So here she was, sitting in a booth at Miller's Diner, dressed simply but elegantly, waiting for a man she'd never met. His name was Tom Riley. Jenna said he was a good guy. That's all Claire knew. Outside, snow kept falling. Inside, her hot chocolate had gone cold. Claire sighed, ready to stand up and leave. But then the door opened, and a gust of cold wind rushed in. A man stumbled through, shaking the snow off his jacket. He looked exhausted, maybe in his 30s, with messy brown hair and eyes that carried both weariness and warmth. "Claire?" he asked, slightly out of breath. She nodded slowly. "Tom?" He smiled, embarrassed. "Yeah, I'm so sorry I'm late." She could tell he meant it. His voice was genuine, humble even. Tom slid into the seat across from her, apologizing again. "I had to pick up my little girl from my sister's place. The snow was worse than I thought." Claire noticed how his hands shook a little as he wrapped them around his coffee mug. His coat was old, frayed at the edges, and his shoes were wet. She could tell he didn't have much. Still, there was something in his eyes. Honesty, maybe. A quiet dignity. "No problem," she said softly. "It's Christmas Eve. Everyone's running behind today." He smiled, clearly relieved. "Thank you for waiting. Most people wouldn't have." Something about the way he said that stayed with her. They ordered simple meals, soup for him, salad for her. Conversation started slow, awkward even. But soon, it began to flow. Tom told her he used to be a mechanic. His wife had passed away 2 years earlier from cancer. Since then, it had just been him and his 6-year-old daughter, Emily. He worked 2 jobs, one at the repair shop during the day, another delivering groceries at night. "It's not easy," he admitted, "but she's my world. Every bedtime story, every pancake morning, it's all worth it." Claire listened, touched by his words. He wasn't trying to impress her. He wasn't pretending. He was just real. For years, she'd been surrounded by men who bragged about cars, vacations, money. But this man, he spoke about love and loss, about responsibility and hope. And for the first time in a long while, Claire felt something move inside her heart. Just as their food arrived, Tom's phone buzzed. He checked it and frowned. "I'm so sorry, I have to take this." He stepped away, whispering into the phone. Claire tried not to eavesdrop, but his tone was urgent. When he returned, his expression had changed, worried, guilty. "That was my neighbor," he said quietly. "Emily woke up crying. She's scared of the thunder." "Thunder?" Outside, the snow was turning into sleet, tapping gently against the window. Claire looked at him. "Go," she said simply. "She's your little girl." He looked torn. "But I just got here." "Tom," she said with a soft smile, "if she's scared, she needs you more than I do right now." He hesitated, then nodded. "I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you, I promise." He left in a rush, the bell over the diner door jingling as he disappeared into the snowy night. Claire sat there for a moment, staring at his untouched bowl of soup. Something about the way he'd hurried out, the fatherly panic in his eyes, touched her deeply. She thought of her own father, who'd worked long hours but always showed up for her school plays no matter what. For the first time in years, Claire realized how little kindness she'd given lately. She'd spent her life chasing success, but somewhere along the way she'd stopped seeing people, their struggles, their stories, And now, in a small diner on Christmas Eve, she was reminded what real love looked like. The next morning, Claire couldn't stop thinking about Tom and his daughter. On a sudden impulse, she drove to a small toy store downtown. She picked out a stuffed snowman, some crayons, and a pink storybook called The Little Christmas Star. She didn't know if it was too much or too little, but it felt right. She asked Jenna for Tom's address. Since Jenna had set up the blind date, she had it. Claire drove through the snowy streets, nervous but determined. When she reached his building, it was modest, an old apartment complex with cracked steps and a flickering porch light. She climbed to the second floor and knocked. Tom opened the door, looking surprised and a little embarrassed. Emily peeked from behind him, clutching a teddy bear. "Merry Christmas," Claire said softly, holding out the small bag. "I wanted to bring something for Emily." Tom blinked, clearly speechless. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," she said. "You left our date for the best reason in the world." Emily smiled shyly and whispered, "Thank you." It was such a simple word, but it filled the air with warmth. Tom invited her in. The apartment was small but cozy, handmade drawings on the fridge, a little tree decorated with paper stars. Emily showed Claire the ornaments she'd made from colored paper and glitter. They spent the afternoon talking, laughing, sharing cookies Emily had baked, a little burnt but full of heart. Tom played guitar softly while Emily sang Silent Night, her voice pure and sweet. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. For Claire, it was the best Christmas she'd had in years. A year passed. The snow returned, the lights sparkled, and Christmas Eve came again. This time, at the same diner on Main Street, two people sat by the window, not as strangers, but as family. Tom still wore that old jacket, but his eyes were brighter. Emily sat beside him, drawing pictures on napkins. And Claire, no longer the lonely CEO, was smiling, truly smiling. She reached across the table and held Tom's hand. "You know," she said, "I used to think success meant fancy offices and big contracts, but now—" He squeezed her hand gently. "Now you know it's about love." She nodded. "And kindness, always kindness." Outside, the snow began to fall again. Inside, laughter filled the air. Kindness doesn't always show up in big, dramatic ways. Sometimes, it's just a woman waiting a little longer before giving up, or a single dad rushing home because his little girl needs him. It's patience, it's compassion, it's choosing to see the good in someone even when life has made them late. In a world that's moving too fast, kindness is what slows us down, long enough to connect, to care, to understand. So this Christmas, maybe it's your turn. Wait a little longer, forgive a little faster, give a little more. Because the smallest kindness can change someone's entire story, and who knows, it might even change yours. Thank you for watching this story on TruthLines USA. If this touched your heart, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a reminder that kindness still exists. Merry Christmas. And remember, the world changes one kind act at a time.